Hey everyone, this is John here from ContraBIM, and I'm excited because in this video I'm going to show you how quickly and easily you can set up your ARCHICAD projects for quantification and cost estimating. We're going to take the default ARCHICAD out of the box template and load C5D estimating right on top. I'm going to show you how to link this all up and set up your project file so you can get up and running quickly. So let's go ahead and start here with our floor plan. And the only work that I've really done in this project file is I've gone through all the favorites and just placed them so that there's actually some content that we can look at. So you'll notice here we have a single zone, a bunch of doors, windows, walls, beams, stairs, railings, and so on. So I've done this just so that we have some content to take a look at. So the first step of setting up your project file is by bringing in the necessary properties that will enable the entire estimating workflow. So that's step one. And let's go to our options, our property manager, and we'll go to import this property pack. And we can do this in a single step here. So we'll select the C5D properties and classifications. If you're an international user, then you would of course choose the metric. And so with that, let's go ahead and open this up. We'll include the classifications as part of this. And because there's classifications version 2.0 already in this file, we want to actually replace those with the new version that we're adding, which really is the same as version 2.0. The only difference is we break down some of the classification types, like for example, walls. Instead of having all of our walls just assigned to walls, we actually like to assign them to concrete walls, masonry walls, timber framed walls, and so on, to give us a little bit more breakout and control over the properties. So in this case, we'll just simply replace, and there we go. We can see that we've now imported all the properties, and we have all these nice identifications just made available. And so the next step here is I like just rolling these up so that I can move them all to the top of the list and make them just very front and center and easy to work with when we're actually adding properties to our model elements. So I'm just going to do this really quickly. We're getting down here to the MEPs, to the zones here. And with that, there we go. We got them all. So I'm going to grab from the bottom here to the top, and I'll simply just take these and drag them to the top so that they appear as the top line items when I go to start entering properties into our model elements. So I always like to start at the top as the most important with identifications, and then we can get into the cost estimate properties and so on. Okay, we've now added those in. They're now loaded up. So that completes step one. Pretty easy. Step two is we have a ton of different reports set up that we want to import. So we'll simply go to our scheme settings and we'll just go down here to our import function, and we will go and find our interactive schedules. And we have really four different groupings of reports here. We can quickly just add our audits. So we'll just select them all and add them all at once. We will add our details, which really help us with inputting data. We will add all of our trade reports, which are the different breakdowns for quantification and estimating. So we added all those. And then finally, we can add a few reports here for zones. So we'll grab the whole chunk and add all these as well. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can now see that we have a lot of new reports set up. And with this, we can go in and start giving these a little bit more structure by adding them to our view map. So with this, let's add C5D estimating pack as a new folder. And I'm just going to create a new folder for audits, a new folder for details, a new folder for trade reports, and finally a new folder for zones. We'll just kind of mimic what we had done upon import. So now that we've done that, let's just take these and we're going to drop them right in. So there we go. Details, trade reports, and our zones. We have a few, most of these here that we're looking at, these are all elemental based reports. We do have a few component based reports, and these are the ones that are really useful for breaking out different materials for reporting from our different composite structures and complex profiles. So these are really, really powerful and make it easy to extract a lot of content, a lot of different quantities and pricing from single composite structures. So I'm just going to place these in one by one so that I can get them in the right sequential order. Okay, so now that we've added all those, let's go to our publisher, and we'll back out of this and we'll create a new publisher, and I'm going to call this once again C5D estimating pack. So now that we've got that, we'll just create a new folder here, and in this case I actually want to call this something specific. I'm going to call this cost reports CSI because these are CSI based cost reports, and with that we'll simply just grab all of the reports from our view map, drag and drop them in, and we'll actually add just a few of these zone based reports as well. So we'll drop those, and last step here is let's just change our format to an XLSX file. So with that, we've gone through, we've added the properties and classifications, we've added all the reports, we've created our publisher. Now it's time to take one step further and start setting up a new estimate file. Okay, let's jump over here to this folder. So I have just a C5D application demo folder here. Within here, this is our working file. You can see we have an estimate template folder. So within this, we have a metric version and a imperial version. We also have a folder called cost reports parentheses CSI. Now that's the reason that I wanted to name this very specifically, is because I want to publish and overwrite this folder every time we want to publish out a new cost report. So these actually contain all of the cost reports here as well, and they are just blank at this point, so there's no content on these, but they're just set up and ready to work with our new estimate. So next step is I'm just going to copy this. We'll just copy this entire folder, and I'm just going to paste it one level outside, and I can call this really whatever I want. It can just be C5D demo estimate. Okay, there we go. And we'll go in here. Let's see. That's interesting. It didn't copy over. Let's try that once again. I'm going to take all these contents, going to copy C5D estimate demo, and let's paste them. Okay, there we go. I'll actually delete the metric because I don't necessarily need that right now. I can rename this if I wanted. So C5D demo estimate, and let's open this up for the first time. Okay, here we go. So it opened up to our CSI summary report. We can see that there's a warning at the top. So this is just telling us that macros have been disabled. We need to enable those macros because the next step here is we need to connect our source folder, which contains all those reports we're going to publish to. So we will click this little button to browse, and I'll simply try to navigate here to that same folder. So it was the C5D demo estimate and cost report CSI. So I'm just going to hit OK there. And now that we've done that, we've specified this new path for grabbing all of our reports from. So the next step here is we need to specify our path from our publisher. So we're connecting our publisher to that same folder. And in this case, I'm just going to go through and find my training, and we are going to publish to this folder because we want to overwrite this folder upon publish. So we'll select that one there. Okay, so now we've set this up. We've added all of our properties, we've added all the reports, we created a brand new estimate file, and we've linked our publisher to that new estimate file. So the next step here is now it's really time to start going through and assigning model elements, the cost codes needed to show up on the different reports, and so that we can then continue to price these. So I think probably, we have so many different options here. One of the easiest places to probably start would probably be with our lamps. So if we grab all of our lamps, we can then go here to our new properties, and let's just start assigning these. So our lights would be of course, electrical. We can give them the subcode of, let's see, lighting, of course. We can find the right system code, which is lighting and branch wiring. And then this last one here is, we'll just scroll down and look for that D5020 is our system code, and it is lighting equipment. So we've now added all of these codes. There's actually a new feature here in the latest version of C5D, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first off, let's just go here to our electrical report. We can open this up and let's just make sure that those are coming through. So, okay, beautiful. We have all of our lamps, and now we are reporting these. So if we go to the next thing I want to talk about is this item. We don't have a good headline here, and we don't have any cost code. And I want to just point out where those are coming from, because in the latest version of C5D, there's really a brand new estimate summary sheet that is so powerful and so flexible, but it is dependent on having those cost codes set up. So this would be our old one here. This is our new one, and I simply just want to navigate to where our lighting would be. So lighting, light fixtures. So I'm just going to take this code here, which is our cost code. I can see coming from column E, and we can take these and we'll grab these on the floor plan, and we'll just plug this in, and I'm just going to call this interior light fixtures. We'll change our unit cost. In this case, we'll just plug in a kind of a random value of $150, and we'll make these set to each. So now that we've done that, we can see that we have a nice clean cost item here. We can check and see, okay, there's our unit cost coming through, and we also have our pricing package set up, our CSI code set up, and our uniformat level 4. So with that, let's go ahead and we will publish, and we'll go to our estimate here, and I'm just going to click this link to jump me to my electrical takeoff sheet, and let's just hit refresh. So there we go. We have all of them now listed. They are showing up here on our systems-based summary, and if we go to our CSI-based summary, if we roll these up, we can see that there's our electrical. We expand that, and there we go. If we hit this little X right here, it's going to add it to our total. So now we are starting to calculate electrical costs, and that's pretty much the workflow. So that's one example. Lighting is pretty easy. Let's do another. So let's go back here. Let's do something maybe a little bit more challenging. Let's take a look at our beams here, and let's grab what looks to be like a concrete beam. So with this, let's go in and let's just start assigning some. Actually, let's see if we can do 2 of these at once. Let's do our concrete beams, and I know there's a concrete column down here, so let's assign both of these at once. Now, because these are different tools, we can actually use this option up here, which is edit selection set, to actually add new cost codes to these at the same time. So we have one beam and one column we are working with. So we'll add concrete. We'll add this to cast in place concrete. Let's consider both of these part of our floor construction and both of these part of our upper floor construction. Okay, so next step is let's dial in that cost code. So if we, let's just do a quick preview of our cast in place concrete report. There we can see we have our floor construction coming through. We don't have a cost code just yet, but we do have our types. We are pricing these. In this case, we'll want to price them based off cubic yards. And one thing I'm noticing here is the settings of this file is actually currently set to cubic feet. So that's one thing we need to adjust, which is under our project preferences, calculation units and rules. Let's just change this. Okay, length. Obviously, we're not doing decimal inches. We'll set this to decimal feet. Area, square feet is perfect. And volume, we want that in cubic yards. So there we go. We can see that's been updated. We can give this some cost. So let's go maybe 300 per cubic yard for the beam and probably 700 or so for the column. All right, next step here. Let's go to our report and figure out what cost codes are going to help link it up. So we'll navigate up here to our superstructure. our floor construction and our upper floor construction. So we have some columns for square, and we have a cast in place deck beam. So this one here, 03, 31, 31, the deck beams is 45. So let's go in. I'm going to paste our column, and this one is 03, 31, 45. So we now have both of these reporting. The last thing that I probably want to update there is maybe just the descriptions. So we can highlight these in 3D. I'm just going to go here and just type in cast in place deck beam, and we'll grab this one, which is a cast in place column. Beautiful. All right. So let's open up that report. We can generate that report from either the publisher or from our view map. Double check that we have everything set up. It looks pretty good. And let's publish it out. Publish. As soon as it's published, we can go here. We'll jump to our cast in place concrete report and refresh this sheet. And there we are. We can see the cost of those values coming through. So yeah, it's pretty much as easy as that. We can check this in our systems. There's our column, there's our deck beam, our source quantity here. So this looks a little bit off, which I believe is just because we need to bump up our decimal points. So obviously they're not zeros, they're calculating cost here. We go to our CSI summary and we can see there the cost is coming through as well. So this is really just the process of going through, and now that we've set up the system, we just go through and we assign all the cost codes to the model elements. So it's pretty easy once it's added to your project file. I mean, it's been, what, only 15 minutes and we're already calculating electrical and concrete. But we don't have to stop there. We can keep going. Let's take a look at these windows and check those out. We can select all these windows here. We can give them some categories. So we'll go to openings, set these as windows. We can set these up as, obviously they're exterior windows. Most of them are. They're, obviously we could have interior windows, but and then let's set these to windows. Okay, cost code. That's the next step. Let's find the cost code so that we can get things to relate here onto this sheet. So that'll be under exterior enclosure, exterior windows, windows. So we will copy this one here, metal windows. We can always rename these. But that's the beauty of that new summary sheet is, oh, did I not copy that? Thought I copied that. Copy, paste, exterior windows. And we'll just give these a generic count of each. And we'll do, say, 500. Actually, you know what we can do here? Let's switch this up a little bit. We'll grab just, say, some of these right here. And instead of doing it based on each, we can switch these over to square foot. And let's do, say, like $50 a square foot. And so we can price some by, you know, the package or some by the area. Doesn't really matter. Let's open up that report for Windows. Okay, so we can see we have some windows coming through. We actually have, looks like a skylight coming through, which we didn't assign, but I can see that here we have, yeah, we have that listed to pull in a skylight. So, so that's one we can actually just do directly from here, or we can skip over it for now and come back to it. So let's just do this one. We'll make this our last report. And there we go. Windows, publish. Well, let's at least give it a cost. Actually, looks like it needs to be, that one needs a little bit of work. Doesn't look like it has any of these available, which means that in this case, oh, now it's going to bug me. Let's fix this. So this one is unclassified. So as I was placing these favorites, they need to be classified in order for these properties to become available. So let's go through and we'll just, do we have a skylight? We do. We can just type that in. So now it's available. And of course we can go in and just simply quickly add these. No, this is a roof window. There we go. and we can just finish this out. Roof openings, 30, 20. So this is glazed roof opening. I don't know the cost code off the top of my head, but it's probably going to be 086000 is what we can do as a generic one, and we'll call this a skylight. So I'm actually going to take this value here and copy it because we'll probably use it here shortly. So let's publish this out. I didn't give it a cost, did I? Sorry, I'm trying to do this quick, and because of that, I tend to miss a few things. So we'll publish. Okay. We'll go to our reports here. Let's go to our windows schedule. We'll refresh this. There's our exterior windows. There's our skylight. Everything is calculating. We can actually see here. So like for the example of our square footage versus each for our pricing. So we can see the difference there as those come through. So 25 square feet for both of those. That's interesting that it's the same exact size. So, okay, we'll go back now to our systems, and there's our windows coming through. Let's see, did we have a line item for our skylights, glazed roof openings? So roof, dormer, windows, skylights, prefabbed units. So I could have plugged in 62 on the other side, or I can change this right here to 60, and there we go. All we need to do is make those link up. So, all right, so got quite a few things already going here really quickly, and I just wanted to do this video to show how easy this can be, just to simply start loading up your model with all the properties, all the reports, and start calculating cost. Now, with the C5D package, I've actually been recording a ton of different videos here that will actually walk you through all these steps. So on the training page here, there's a bunch of them for how to get, where we go into much more detail on how to do the import and setup, preparing before we do the cost loading, and then a bunch here where we go through each different report and actually load things up using the same sample file. We load things up and really talk about the different workflows. So not only do you get the full C5D tools as part of this system, but there's so much training that I'm building into this. You can't go wrong, because on the other end, you're going to come out just not only being able to estimate and quantify your models, but you're going to learn so much about ARCHICAD, how it works, and how to set up this estimating workflow. You're going to just It's going to just open your mind to a whole new way of using this tool. So, okay, with that, thank you for watching. Hopefully this is a workflow that you're interested in. I think there's a ton of value to it. And yeah, with that, we will catch you on another video.